doing field trips every day. You know, he'd be at Home Depot, he'd be at the pet store. He just needs to be not really flooded, but exposed. He needs to be exposed to as many sights and sounds and objects and scenarios as possible. You know, and it doesn't always mean clicking him for looking and pairing it with food, but getting him out into an environment, and you know, if he plays, take him out someplace where there's a little bit of activity and play with him a little bit. You know, you've just got to create positive associations in all of these areas. And then as far as the barky work goes, again, he's at this point in time, he is not a committed biter. Yes, when pushed, he opened his mouth. Did he use any bite pressure? Not at all. He growled, but he also was retreating. He couldn't retreat at some point. He was tangled around my legs, couldn't go anywhere, so he just kind of sucked it up and took it.
Yeah.
Right. He did not continue to escalate. He didn't get more defensive. He didn't get more confrontational. He just kind of sucked it up and dealt with it. You know, flight wasn't an option, and he didn't choose fight, which was great.
Probably a good choice.
Exactly. So I suspect that if this was an older dog whose behavior had been going on this way for a longer period of time, then you would see an escalation in things because he'd be more practiced at it. He's not very practiced at it. So his barking is just his way of saying, I'm not comfortable. But I think it's fairly obvious that you can get him comfortable. Whether or not that means turning him into a social butterfly that loves everybody, I don't know about that. But certainly tolerant of everyday scenarios, I think that's totally within reason.
And as I said, his home life is great. To get him a good home, of course, the right person might take him as is, but to get him a good home, I think to be able to meet people without barking and backing up, it's not a very good first impression.
Exactly.
And then having someone who you know would be realistic about what they need to do with him.
Right.
At this point, I don't think I'd promise, I've got the next great, world beater agility dog.
Right.
And I'm not sure, he's a mild enough guy, I'm not sure he even would be. He might just be a nice agility dog for someone who wants to, or whatever, rally,
Right.
And maybe just someone who wants a nice dog.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I do think that getting him over this people hump would definitely help in his adoptability.
Yeah.
It makes them a whole lot easier to adopt if they've got an auto sit for attention, and if they'll make eye contact and they won't, do any barking and backing up.
That's what he did when I met him. Boy, did he fool me. I don't know if that was...
He fell into his little trap.
And I guess, and it doesn't really matter, but it's like, what changed? Why was he like